Hi, my name is Kayla, but you knew that already. I'm your coach here at Rebrand Land. You've decided to join my coaching program because you've recognized the skills and talents that you're living with right now are probably lying dormant because someone told you it needed to. Now you're sitting with me, and over the next 12 months, we're going to dive deep into your mental, your physical, your community, and everything else that is involving with you being the main character. It's going to be intense. It's going to feel overwhelming. You might actually hate me a little bit after this, but understand this is all to make sure that you are walking full into your calling. At this moment, you've decided to join Rebrand Land because you recognize you're tired of people pretending around you. You're tired of people saying, hey, you can do this, but not really showing you how. I'm going to take all the things that I've learned in my course of an entrepreneur and as my time as an educator within Walt and share all of this information with you. Not only do you get me, but you get Rebrand Land, a team, a network, a community of individuals, legacy builders, curse breakers that are walking full-fledged into their story. And now it's your turn. Welcome to Rebrand Land, home of the main character. What's up, everybody? Welcome in, and welcome to Rebrand Land, home of the main character, where we show you how to be the center of your story. This leadership series that we're going to be doing is going to be really focused heavy on what kind of leader you want to be, and understanding that no matter what kind of job you hold, what kind of career you hold, whether you're an entrepreneur in a 9-to-5 transitioning into being an entrepreneur, rebranding the CEO, as we like to say here, there are specific skills and things that you need to have as a leader in an entrepreneurship field. Because many of us jump into entrepreneurship and we decide a number of different things. One, we want to be our own boss. Well, being your own boss means that you also have to have a certain set of leadership over yourself. You have to have a certain set of discipline. You have to have a certain set of knowledge. You have to know how to network, how to find information. And so a lot of this series is going to cover that. It's going to cover how we engage with our community and how we engage with ourselves to be better leaders. One of the things that I want to even keep continuing to push in this aspect is that no matter what it is that you're doing, no matter what route you're taking, you are a leader. Okay. Leadership by definition is that people have followers. You have people that are following you. So even if you are in, a particular area where you feel like you're not being a leader, there are people around you that are counting on your leadership. And this is what we are about here. Unlocking that potential in that leadership that you have. So I present to you my friend Walt here. Walt is a car salesman. And he's going to, through his story, show us how the greatest car salesman and the greatest salesman is actually your friend. And through his own leadership and through his own relationship skills. So the things that you need to know about Walt are listed, right? Walt is an Atlanta car salesman. If you know anything about Atlanta, he's charismatic, baby. He can talk to you real good. He can sway you real nice. And that's what makes him the car salesman that he is. But it's also because he has education and background in psychology. So he studied psychology in college. He knows how people move, how their emotions move, and that all plays a part into how he's good at his job. Like I said, 25-year-old Atlanta native. He's super, super strong in relationship building. If you were going to, ask anybody about Walt, they'll tell you, oh, he's a great friend. He's a listener, right? He gives me the best advice. I'm always going to him because he's dependable. I can count on him. So, even being as amazing as Walt is, Walt has things that may stop him from making the particular sale that he needs to. So we're going to actually let Walt tell us in his own words about the time he had to make one of the most difficult sales of his life. Because even being as charismatic as he is, even knowing exactly what he's supposed to be doing and doing this and repeating this process over and over and over again, he hit a wall because he had a difficult client.
There was a time where I had to build a relationship. Well, many times I had to build relationships while I was a car salesman. And one in particular was this, it was a 20-something-year-old black guy. And he was really nervous. And I don't know, his attitude toward car salesmen, toward dealerships, it was he wasn't nice. Evidently, he had been to maybe 2 or 3 different car dealerships, and he came in with demands. He wanted a black Toyota Camry with black interior, black wheels, and he wanted to make sure it drove a certain way. So basically, when I got with the guy, we had a couple. We maybe had about 7 or 8 in stock. So I showed him the cars, and basically he wanted to be sure about it. Evidently, he had a daughter, and he had been saving this money for a while. And the last couple dealerships he's been to, the guys just didn't want to deal with him. And I can see why. He was a bit of an asshole at the beginning, but sometimes you got to see through the surface level stuff, and you have to see the need in the person. So all he really wanted was to get a good car for his family, because he was a hard-working guy, and I seen that. So I did the dance with him. I took him to multiple cars, and I did all of the checks I would do if I were inspecting a car that we were about to, that somebody was about to trade in. So I showed him, I said, man, this is how you want to look at the windows, and we're going to check the lights on the car, and we can look under the hood if you want. If you want to drive multiple, we're gonna do that. I said, because if you want to sell, because I of course I wanted to sell, but I wanted to make sure that he knew it wasn't just about the sale, man. You're so nervous to buy a car that you're probably passing up on good cars because of, dudes don't want to do the song and dance with you. We had a bunch of good cars. It was tedious, but he didn't buy that day. He left saying that he was gonna get the money together with the bank and come back and get the car. But the dude ended up coming back. He ended up getting the car that we looked at. He putting all this money down, and he bought the car. The dude came back maybe about 3 days later. Yo, it's something wrong with the seat belt. It's not working. I said, bro, trust me. You just bought this car. We gonna take care of you. I told him to drive it back to my to the service department. He did. I told service what was going on. Basically, the seatbelt got knotted up, and he didn't know how to get it loose. It was the 3 hours that we spent together, getting to know each other, me learning about his family, me learning why he's so nervous, why he don't trust dealerships, and kind of just maneuvering through those obstacles together. We were able to build a bond that day that lasted to the next day when he came back, and it lasted to the next week when he came back to about the seatbelt. But that particular day we did good business together, and I think I changed his mind about car salesman, and I'm pretty sure he still loves his car.
Now, there are a couple of things in Walt's story that I want you to pick up on. Right? Walt explained to us that this particular client that he had was known throughout the rest of the car dealerships to be an asshole, baby. He had came from 4 different car dealerships, not getting what he wanted, ran through them people until he met Walt. So Walt knew that he had to close this deal. Okay? There were 3 things that made this easy for Walt to do. 1, he built quick and intentional rapport. Okay. And this is something that I even speak to my clients about as they are, building out their processes and their systems of automation. There are things that you want to do that are going to make this easy for you, and things that you want to give away so it makes it easy for you, right? In Walt's process, he had to figure out who this man was, why he was so angry, during this point, and why it was so difficult. So he had to build a quick and intentional relationship with him, getting down to who he is, why he is, and what kind of car he wanted to have. Why did he need that kind of car? Right? And then being able to relate to that individual's pain points to go ahead and close that deal. Right? So you heard Walt, Walt mentioned that the client, was upset that he had been to a number of different things. And even when he approached him, he was kind of a jerk. But there was all a reason behind that. And Walt was able to put his own emotions aside to figure out what that reasoning was, right? The next thing that leads me right into my next question of my next point of what helped Walt was this aspect of questioning and caring about what's going on with the client. I'm pretty sure that he has gone to a number of different places, the same way that Walt described, and people didn't necessarily care about why he was there because all they wanted to do was close that deal. They wanted to sell that car, right? And with wanting to sell that car, that didn't mean that they needed to get to know who Walt, to know who that client was or to know why that client was. It just meant that they needed to close that deal, and that's why they didn't get far with this client, which led them to Walt's care. Now, the question is, what kind of leadership style did Walt present or take to close this deal? Now, I spoke to you about this already, and I'll say it again. No matter what it is that you're doing, no matter what career you're in, there is an aspect of leadership that you are going to be having. Okay, that you have to figure out what your leadership style is. Now, understanding that there are 5 common types. Okay, there are 5 common types of leadership. Transformational leadership, which is what I like to emphasize on. These are the people that see a vision, right? They have a vision of transformation. They want their followers or the people behind them to adopt a particular thought process, right? And this kind of thought process is extremely effective for organizations looking to make major changes, right? You also have the delegative, right? The people that just entrust their team to do what needs to be done. It literally translates into let them do, right? Let them do it. I trust someone to do. And this leadership style is very, very hands-off. Okay. We have the authoritative. Okay. Those are the ones that are often referred to as a visionary, but there's more emphasis on follow me and follow me as what I do. So I'll say this, a lot of the coaches and consultants that you see right now in, entrepreneurship, they follow this leadership style. Okay. Do what I do because I know what I'm doing, and you've got to follow my exact actions. Okay. Follow me. You have the transactional leader that focuses really on structure. Okay. They want to have their followers or the people behind them to see a clear pathway, right? These are the people that don't necessarily need to motivate people to complete their tasks because the structure is there. You do your task and this one works, right? And then you have the participative leadership that really focuses on like a more democratic approach, right? I want to listen to you. I want to get how you're feeling. Okay, how can we include this? Typically these leaders have great communication type styles, and they know that communication is crucial to them being empowered. Right. And I want you to understand this. No matter what the connotation is about it, leadership is about power. Okay. And we've got to stop fighting ourselves on that feeling. Now, I know if you're someone like me, having that idea of having power is a little bit kind of turn-offish, right? Because I don't want power. I just want people to do good because it's the right thing to do, and this is what the people deserve, right? However, understanding that in the aspect of entrepreneurship that I don't want to be a freelancer, that I always wanted to be a CEO, I have to figure out what my leadership style is. So if I was to use myself for an example, my leadership style, while it does fall along the lines of transformational, I kind of ebb and flow out of all of these, right? When I'm leading my team, I like to delegate. I trust the Rebrand Dream Team to do whatever it is they have been contracted to do. And I don't have to follow up behind them, right? Because I have made sure that these individuals are the top and leading experts in their field, which means that I don't have to do a whole bunch of lead work. They're going to have their own set of leadership styles because they have their own set of teams to lead, right? Even when it comes to the authoritative, if I have to, because I am the visionary of Rebrand Land, I still have to take charge, right? I'm leading this ship. So even though they're in their own set of leadership, they're still looking at me for guidance. And that's okay. We have to get more comfortable being someone that is empathic, does have a love for people, and saying, yeah, I also have power in this, right? I have the ability to make or break someone's day by the way that I communicate with them, by the way that I guide them, by the advice that I show to them. That is all my responsibility, right? And there is a sense of power that comes into that. Okay. So the more that we start to even just realize that, or even just kind of settle in on it, the better off we'll be. People, we got to be real with each other. Okay, so a lot of the coaching series that you're going to engage in, and even, I don't even like to say coaching. This is more of a training. A lot of the training that we're going to engage in focuses heavily on that. The fact that you have to be real with yourself. No matter what the society has put on you, this is what's happening. You are a leader, and people are looking at you for guidance. Even if it is that you're just working with clients and you're just a freelancer. Sweetheart, you're still a leader, okay? They're still looking at you for guidance. They're still trusting you to do this thing. And their own form of leadership, which was to delegate that thing out and hire you. So what type of leadership are you going to bring forth to your clients to make them feel like, I want to be here over and over and over again? Right? There's no reason for me to leave Rebrand Land because they've got everything that I need because the leadership style is there. If we're going to change the face of what minority-owned businesses look like and what business looks like, period, we have to take more charge in what we're doing and being more responsible for the impact that we're leaving, not only for the people that work with and for us, but for the clients that we serve. Okay? Now, getting back to my friend Walt here. Let's recall, what did you hear about the client, right? You heard that the client was angry and aggressive and impatient, kind of headstrong, just probably not the most enjoyable person to sit and speak to on a Monday morning, right? Without any coffee. However, this is not looking at the client through a leadership lens, okay? We have a saying here in Rebrand Land that we always lead with love. Well, what does that mean? Leading with love actually means that before you make an assumption, you're assuming positive intent. And whatever action I take before that and after that is going to be in the aspect of love and care and understanding, right? Does that mean that we don't have heavy boundaries? Oh, baby, you got to, right? Because when you lead with love, people will try you and they will think that you are just this lovey, joyous individual all day long. Listen. Okay, leading with love does not mean that I'm a pushover. Leading with love means that I'm going to choose to love you first. And I'm going to walk away with knowing that I have done everything in my power to make this situation successful without impeding on my own boundaries. Okay, that is what leading with love is. So when you lead with love, you take away this aspect of aggression and angry and impatience, and this person is just a jerk and I don't want to deal with them. And you start to see the client through a leadership lens. He wasn't necessarily aggressive. He was determined. Okay, he was determined to find the car that he wanted to have. Well, why was he so angry? Well, he wasn't angry. He was convinced. He was convinced that this car, that black Toyota Camry that was all blacked out and everything he needed, was the car that he deserved because he had scheduled time to do this. Not that he was impatient, but that he was on a schedule because he was a father. He's a new father with a new baby. He's not headstrong. He's making sure that whatever choice he makes right now is going to be the best choice for his daughter. So all of those emotions that we immediately were presented with, when you look at it through a leadership lens, you say, okay, here's the actual picture here. And this is what Walt did. Instead of taking the same approach others before him did, where they turned him away. All right, well, you don't want this car, and this is the one I feel like is best for you based on your credit, blah, blah, blah. I'm just not going to work with you. Bye, go to another dealership. That led that client right to Walt, where Walt was able to determine, you know what, I'm going to make sure this man gets the car that he asked for with the credit score he walked in here with and the down payment that he needed, got him the deal that he deserved because he was a determined, convinced, and scheduled father. Not an aggressive, angry, impatient, and headstrong client. So what type of leadership approach did Walt take? He participated. He participated in what needed to happen for that client. He was active in building a quick rapport with that client to see exactly what the need was. He got down to it. Even when that client had to come back and, the seatbelt not working, this is that and third, that just because we have gone to another time period doesn't mean that leadership lens changes. Because even though he walked away happy and satisfied with the car, when it came back and he could not get that seatbelt to work or whatever was wrong with the car, he was still that determined, convinced, scheduled father that probably didn't have time to come in here about a damn seatbelt. No way. Right? But he right here at this dealership because he needed to make sure that his baby girl was set up and taken care of. So what is being the main character? Being the main character is learning to leverage relationships through leadership. Okay. Learning how to use your talents and your skills to get people to listen to you, whether that be your clients or whether that be your team. It all translates into that. If you want to learn more about how we do this thing, if you want to participate a little bit heavier, we have our very first Rebrand Mastermind, the main character VIP Mastermind Day. We're going to fellowship, relax, strategize with one another, all in a day's work. We do have both virtual and in-person tickets available. The tickets are on sale now, so if you go to rebrandland.net, you'll be able to access those tickets. And if you're watching this, go ahead and use code REBRANDME to get $200 off of your ticket. We want to make sure that whatever you're walking into with in the new year, that you are actually prepared. And this is the goal of the Mastermind Day, to set you apart from the rest of the crowd. So I hope to see you there. My name is Kayla Life, owner and founder of Rebrand Land, home of the main character. Please welcome and be the center of your story. We need you, baby. Peace.